Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast, the place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, I am your host, King Von Jr. You can follow me on social media, on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. You can follow the show's Twitter page at Victory Pod 1. You can follow the show's Instagram page at Victorious Ones Podcast. I'm also the social media producer for the unpopular reviews wrestling show Perfect Plex Talk Radio, hosted by Mike Knox at 6 p.m. on Mondays. And so of course, quite a lot to get into in tonight's episode. This is definitely a weekend to remember in more ways than one. Of course, I want to give you the weekend wrestling, the things that went on when it came to SmackDown, Raw, and especially when it came to NXT last night. When I say, my gosh, like, my goodness, it is, talk about loving NXT. More on that later. But also, I will, like I said, the main that, and also I'm going to give a recap of the WWE Rivals series. That definitely, especially when it comes to Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels and some yes. And of course, the main event, especially, is going to be about my weekend when it came to AwesomeCon. Hence, that is why, as a matter of fact, should be wearing this tonight. Really cool AwesomeCon shirt. Thank you very much for those that those AwesomeCon at the convention center here in DC. Of course, by the way, for those that are watching by way of YouTube, please make sure to follow the show's YouTube page at youtube.com/@Von Virginia. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more great content. And so of course, like I said, thank you very much for those that have been watching live, and those that watch on replay, those that listen later on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else that you download podcasts. And so, also, of course, when it comes to the Oscars, like I said, congratulations to. I just want to give a quick shout out. Congratulations to Oppenheimer for just dominating. Dominating the awards on Sunday night. As far as congratulations to Cillian Murphy for winning best actor, best actor award for his role as Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. for finally winning an Oscar for best supporting actor in that movie as well. Christopher Nolan for winning for best director. So on and so forth. It was, like I said, very well done. An incredible movie, an amazing movie in more ways than one. And also, I also want to give a shout out, of course, once again, of course, when it comes to Women's History Month, I'd like to give a shout out to all the amazing trailblazing women this month for Women's History Month. And so of course, I'm making sure to get to spotlight different women's wrestlers each week, each day, as long as I can. So of course, those are pretty much just the usuals out the way. But yeah, like I said, of course, without further ado, I want to go into like I said, of course, without further ado, I definitely want to go into my recap when it comes to the weekend wrestling, and it is definitely been a week in more ways than one. You know what I mean? So it's definitely been a very electrifying week in wrestling. Starting off, especially when it comes to Islam, especially when it comes to SmackDown. And all I gotta say is, this, this, like I said, this SmackDown was certainly one, certainly one, that you did not want to miss. Certainly one to remember. In more ways than one. Of course, when it comes to this Friday night, March 8th edition of SmackDown, and so of course, we have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins answer the Rock's challenge with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and then Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross and Logan Paul appearance. And so of course, starting off, of course, we have Logan Paul return to SmackDown as the United States Champion, kicked off the show with a special announcement of a historic first for WWE. And of course, this announcement is that his Prime hydration drink will be the center ring. Hydration will be the center ring sponsor of all premium live events moving forward. beginning with WrestleMania. So that means that moving forward for any premium live event, we're going to see the Prime logo on the ring. You know what I mean? Of course, like I said, of course, Prime's going to be promoted all throughout the PLE. PLE's moving forward, starting off with none other than the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. So that's definitely, key marketing right there. And of course, he introduces his business partner KSI, only for their victory lap to be, and then of course to be interrupted by Randy Orton. So of course, Logan Paul tried to fend off RKO with KSI, and I'm taking the finisher. Of course, before Randy Orton close out this opening segment. So of course, we had to see KSI, of course, eating RKO and looking at the lights. You know what I mean? So of course, WWE's never had an on-campus sponsor ever in history. Like, never have we seen, WWE have a sponsor on their mat, on their, on the canvas of their ring. You know what I mean? So of course, we've seen SummerSlam, we've seen WrestleMania logos, SummerSlam logos, pay-per-view logos, but never an advertisement logo, not even for Slim Jim. You know what I mean? Not for Sprite, not Pepsi, Snickers, Twizzlers, whatever. WWE has never had an on-campus sponsor for their events. So so the thing about it is that even though it's going to be, going to take some time to get used to, obviously, but it's definitely it's definitely something that we see on a regular basis in UFC, as far as UFC, and as well as the other wrestling companies. And it's definitely going to make WWE even more money. So WWE has been it's definitely been on ball when it comes to business. Business has been blowing up like gangbusters. WWE's look like world leaders when it comes to business, and so they're definitely going to eat this alive with the with the Prime logo in the middle of the ring. And so Perfect Plex on Monday, we can kind of throw around the idea of all these different unique different pictures of historic events in WWE history, and if you were to rewrite history and imagine a Prime logo in the middle of the ring. Imagine seeing the Prime logo in the middle of the ring during the Hell in a Cell match when Undertaker threw chokeslam Mankind through the cell. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. Imagine if there was a Prime logo during the Hell in a Cell match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. You know what I mean? All these different historical moments. Imagine if there was a Prime logo in the middle of the ring during Stone Cold Bret Hart match at WrestleMania 13. You know what I mean? So it's so as far as that, it's just like WWE has never met a dollar that it didn't like. And so I certainly believe that even though from a concept standpoint, initially, it could be tough to get used to, but like I say, WWE, I think they'll be savvy enough to really make this work, and eventually, it's going to grow on everybody pretty much. You know what I mean? So it's certainly, I'll say it like this: the idea is certainly meme worthy. I think that's I believe that's certainly one of Logan's strategies, is to make sure that it gets a lot of reactions, gets a lot of views, gets a lot of memes, and that it like I said, without question, it certainly would get all of the above, and so in fact, sorry about that, but yeah, but of course, as for the Orton and Logan Paul feud, this essentially solidifies the idea that they're going to square up at WrestleMania. They're definitely going to have a title match. And even though it would have been great to see Randy Orton, to get more revenge, given that Logan Paul cost him a championship, cost him a Royal Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. But like I said, I definitely see Orton in a position like this when it comes to just elevating the U.S. title and getting it more credence and credibility. Especially since Orton himself has been a U.S. champion. So when you look at it, Randy Orton is actually a Grand Slam champion, one of many in WWE history. So, and of course, KSI took a great RKO. You know what I mean? So as far as that, and also speaking of Randy Orton, going to make a transition with the tag team match: Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus versus the annoying influencer guys, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So you have a battle of serious versus unserious. You know what I mean? So so as far as that, sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, when we look at Orton and KO, like I said, versus versus Theory and Waller, like I said, serious versus unserious. You know, so it's just like, you know what I mean? And of course, of course, as far as the heels, they definitely had had the opportunity to build up even better heat, and so of course Randy Orton, was definitely one that received that definitely received the hot tag, and as far as that, he was definitely on fire with the hot tag, just like I was when he returned to Survivor Series, and so of course it just completely unloaded on both Theory and Waller, and so of course KO joined for a great pop up RKO. So, like a pop-up power bomb turned to an RKO to Austin Theory win. So, of course, like I said, you winners by pinfall, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. So, of course, with that pop-up RKO combo, like I said, that's a great finisher. That was a great concept, great idea. You know what I mean? And and of course, it'd be something pretty funny to see on future WWE 2K game. You know what I mean? You never know. And also, especially speaking of that, especially with the catching finisher, I think the RKO's got to be the best catching finisher that I've seen on WWE 2K video game. But it's a side note. Of course, following that, we have a match with Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. Your winner by disqualification, Bobby Lashley. And so of course after that, we have the segment. We have the interview with Bayley, and so Bayley's talking about how she, of course, the main tagline in this interview is Bayley says that she's all alone. You know what I mean? And so Bayley's just by herself. That's how she wrapped up the interview. The interview that she had with Caleb Braxton. So of course backstage, Naomi's watching. Like I said, watching the interview, and so of course she's with Bianca Belair. Meanwhile, Bianca just had zero sympathy at all for them. Zero F's given from Bianca, and so and of course it was the latest addition to the Edge that she's been having, especially when it came to this attitude that like the sort of edge that she had at the Elimination Chamber, and so but in this aspect, Bianca had zero sympathy. Someone who's like I said, very sympathetic, like I said, super duper, cheerful and everything like that. But like the thing is, Bianca has the memory of a computer. She never forgets. So she never forgot. Never forgot the rivalry that she had with Damage Control, and how Bayley was the forefront of that. And so so Bianca was saying that Bayley made her bed, and now she has to lie in it. You know what I mean? So all she could say was, well, good luck at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So she wasn't fazed by it at all. And of course Bianca had to had to bring Naomi up to speed in terms of who Bayley has been ever since Naomi had left. And so and of course because of that, Naomi knew nothing about Damage Control, how Bayley was the mastermind behind it, how Bayley was the one that created the group in the first place, to feud with to feud with Bianca and Becky. You know what I mean? So as far as that, it's just like, do I really feel that bad about it? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. So it's just so the thing is, like, Bianca really had like zero feelings. If anything, she's pretty much indifferent to Bayley. No love, no hate, just straight up just indifferent. And so it's like zero sympathy, zero empathy whatsoever. So as far as that, moving on, we have the match between Lee Chen versus Tiffany Stratton, aka Tippy Time. So you know what I mean. And so of course your winner of this match. Tiffany Town herself, Tiffany Stratton with the prettiest moonsault ever. I mean, it's Tiffany Stratton of the stratosphere, if you will. You know what I mean? So of course, and the thing is, Tiffany has has mastered, what it means to have presentation. You know what I mean? So like she's definitely learned from Charlotte Flair when it comes to just art of presentation. Like for body language, facial expressions, just the way that she carries herself. You know what I mean? And so forth. And the thing is, you can definitely see that shine um, in the way that she performs, in her moves, and just her character in general. And so of course after the match, AJ Styles just cut just a scathing promo on LA Knight, and so of course LA Knight responded about destroying the television he was watching with a steel chair. Even though that seemed kind of like or whatever. At least I guess that brings some type of aggression out of LA Knight, especially when the WrestleMania. So I believe that's going to be AJ Styles versus LA Knight at Mania. That's where all roads are leading right now. After that, we have Dragon Lee versus Angel Garza. Your winner, Dragon Lee. So as far as that, then afterwards, we have we have the final segment, final confrontation, where Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins will square off with Roman Reigns and The Rock on night one of WrestleMania 40, April 6th. And so, of course, that's how much we know right now. After the main event segment of this past Friday SmackDown, and so of course, there's still a lot of questions and just uncertainty going to the 40th anniversary of the Showcase of the Immortals. And speaking of Showcase, that's the main reason why the WWE 2K games is the first way because of the Showcase mode. And this one is no different. I can't wait to get 2K24. Side note, full disclosure, I'm just waiting until they sort of until they clean out the bugs in this initial wave of the game. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that by the time they get it, they've already cleared up a lot. So we have a lot of the major glitches. So, but that's another story anyway. But anyway, even though despite The Rock knowledge of Roman as a tribal chief a week ago, there's still a lot of tension between them. There's obviously on full display some looks and facial expressions that they have with each other. And so and the thing about it was, of course, Rock, Rock confronted Cody. He was talking about how Cody's the youngest in his family, and there's like a 20-year age difference. There's a 20-year age difference between himself and his siblings and stuff like that. And he said the reason why is because Cody's a mistake, and of course it ends with Cody slapping The Rock as a receipt for the embarrassment that he had to go through the WrestleMania kickoff event, and also of course the thing is before that, The Rock was going on this promo, and Seth Rollins just screamed in his face, telling him to shut up. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, all right then. Well, I just like, I don't know if Seth wanted to do that. I get that was his way of trying to throwing shade to Rock, saying he's rambling and stuff like that. But the thing about it is just like I feel like sometimes they can get overwhelmed with this, and sort of like feel like they're getting too comfortable about it. And of course, The Rock lets Seth Rollins know that that because he's at the head of the table, at least on the board of TKO, that he can take the title away just like that. You know what I mean? So of course, and also, of course, Roman Reigns was calling Seth Rollins a cross-dresser and stuff like that. I was like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? So, and of course, even though there are people on the internet talking about, apparently I've been hearing stuff about canceling Roman, I'm like, nah. Even though that's, that's kind of like something that's like, wouldn't say too much in 2024 these days, but still another cancel Roman off for something like that. That's silly. But like I said, the highlight was the fact that Cody got his receipt for the way that The Rock was embarrassed him by slapping him with really just 3 fingers when you look at it. at the WrestleMania kickoff event in Vegas. And so, and of course, a smile on Rock's face suggests that that's exactly what he wanted out of Cody. You know what I mean? Like that rage, that aggression out of the American Nightmare. You know what I mean? To show that, and that, show he's also established on screen as his boss. And so now it's going to be interesting to see where things are going to go moving forward as far as the angle that they're going with, the direction that they're going with. You know what I mean? Like, of course, when it comes to this angle, and like I said, it was a very, very solid show. You know what I mean? So of course, as far as that, and of course, by the way, thank you very much for those that are watching by way of Twitter. You know what I mean? Like I said, I absolutely greatly appreciate your support. You know what I mean? And like I said, greatly appreciate your support. Please keep those views coming. And so of course that's a recap of SmackDown, and then we're gonna go into Monday Night Raw, and so it definitely started off very heated. Of course, after kicked off with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, it was definitely intense words. It was definitely very heated, and it was definitely looking to erupt and explode like a volcano. And so, of course, after getting hit with a completely unexpected surprise claymore kick in the final moments of last week's Raw, Seth Rollins was to get under Drew McIntyre's skin. I mean, of course, Rollins is a master of antagonizing. He's a master of getting under people's skin, getting in their heads. Case in point, look at Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? And of course, kicking off Raw. After that, we see Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. The winner of that match, the winner of that match is Becky Lynch. And so, of course, in the final moment of an otherwise explosive match, very heated match, Liv Morgan hit her oblivion on Becky Lynch, but before she can attempt to get a pin, of course, Becky managed to roll out the ring, and moments later, of course, Becky caught off the second rope and finished with a manhandle slam, her version of the rock bottom. And then, moments after the match was over, Becky comes face to face with the Women's World Champion Ripley, who is not phased at all. She is not taken off guard. She's not shaken up. She's not intimidated at all. So of course, like I said, the winner of this match, Becky Lynch, and then of course we see Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeat Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. Then after that, we have Cody Rhodes vowing to bring his family the undisputed WWE Universal title at WrestleMania, and Michael Cole is asking me, just talking about his story, how he's going to finish his story, and when I say that Cody should have got an Oscar for the way that he was able to cry on cue. His tears were on cue. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I see what people are saying when they say that Cody had those Sophia, all my life I had to fight from the color purple tears. That's what it reminded me of. Like, yeah, Cody's trying to give off that all my life I had to fight type of type of tears. I was like, dude, come on. And it's like he mastered. Like this guy knows the art of storytelling, the art of politics, and the art of campaigning. Like, yeah, it feels like we are on a presidential campaign. This whole finish the story type of thing. You know what I mean? Like it feels like one giant WWE presidential campaign right now. And so it's just like, and the thing is, I'm not one to judge, but it's just like it's something about this, just like pseudo heel, just in waiting in the wings. It's only a matter of time before that heel turn comes. It's only a matter of time before the fans start turning on Cody. I'm just saying, like, it's just, like I said, really, like I said, this definitely feels like a presidential campaign when you have a candidate that wants to show how relatable they are, how much of a people's champion they are, how much of they're an advocate for the people and things like that. And Cody was talking about, even though he's not able to Dusty's not able to hold the title and celebrate, at least he's got his mom. All right, cool, whatever. and talking about, still talking about finishing the story and things like that. Yada yada, whatever. Anyway, we have a women's tag team championship match as the Kabuki Warriors. Excuse me. The Kabuki Warriors defeat Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. So of course, after interference from Dakota Kai, Asuka nailed Shayna Baszler with a huge kick before Kairi Sane finished off the submission magician with her insane elbow, her salute elbow. You know what I mean? So of course, to retain the women's tag team titles, and then we have Damian Priest versus R-Truth. And of course, shout out to R-Truth for paying tribute to his hero John Cena. However, it was not enough as Damian Priest was able to defeat R-Truth. And of course, then we met with the gauntlet for the gauntlet match for the IC title, to earn the right to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So we have Ricochet defeat JD McBobblehead in match 1 with a shooting star press. Then, of course, after that, in match 2, we have Big Bronson Reed defeat Ricochet. With this finishing move, the Tsunami. That's definitely what he is. Match 3, we have Sami Zayn defeat Bronson Reed. Then we have match 4, we have Sami Zayn. It's definitely the Gauntlet tournament. So we have Sami Zayn defeat Shinsuke Nakamura, his former NXT opponent, NXT rival. Defeats Nakamura in match 5. And then, of course, last but not least, finally, we have Sami Zayn defeat Chad Gable. And of course, in a perfect final battle. And so, and the thing is, even though Sami Zayn was injured throughout the match, definitely fought through the pain and encountered Chad Gable's ankle lock, took his ankle lock to pick up the 3 count and win the right to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And so of course, congratulations to Sami Zayn. But honestly, my pick would have gone to Chad Gable, just because of the embarrassment that Chad dealt with after losing to Gunther the first time, and especially with the way that with this encounter with Gunther last week. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, if there was anybody who I would pick, if it's not Nakamura, for me, it would have to be Chad. It would have had to be Chad Gable. Chad Gable is literally straight up Kurt Angle Jr. You know what I mean? It's like, this dude is a complete wrestler. He is a wrestler's wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it is, right? And so of course, unfortunately, Chad lost. It's like, whatever. So much for that. You know what I mean? Sammy's little story that can be bookmarked too. You can wait on that one, just like Cody. But hey, whatever. Congratulations to Sami Zayn. It's gonna be him versus the Ring General at WrestleMania 40 for the Intercontinental Championship. I guess they figured, that Sammy's gonna sell more tickets for a WrestleMania match than let's say somebody like Chad Gable. But it's like, whatever. But anyway, moving on. Like I said, moving on to NXT from last night. And when I say the NXT more and more is becoming must-see Tuesday night television, this is not a lie. You know what I mean? So of course, I made it my business to to highlight NXT each week, along with SmackDown and Raw. Like, for me, those are the big 3 when it comes to weekly wrestling programming. So of course, the first match, so first match tonight is LWO versus OTM with scripts, and first round match and number 1 contenders qualifying match, for the tag team titles, held by none other than the Wolf Dogs. So your winners are the LWO by pinfall. Next up, we have Roxanne Perez, the Ava Raine and Taylor Paxley segment. So as far as that, Roxanne says, last week exactly what happens when you get sick and tired of trying to play by the rules. So, Roxanne saying, like no more, no more Miss Nice Girl. You know what I mean? So she was saying the sweet, innocent Roxanne Perez that was happy to be here is no longer here. The happy Roxanne, she's no longer here. You know what I mean? This is what happens when Jigglypuff turns evil. Basically, is this is just my way of saying it. You know what I mean? This is what happens. When Kirby gets angry. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much what what it is when it comes when I see someone like Roxanne Perez. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I was like, man, this is like she's just enraged. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, and she definitely took out her anger on the NXT Women's Champion Lara Valkyrie, and so of course Roxanne even got into a brawl, with Tatum Paxley to close out that segment. Then after that we have Lexis King versus Mr. Stone. Your winner by pinfall, Lexis King. And so you know what I mean. So of course, you know what I mean. So as far as that, I know this definitely going to add to Lex's feud. A feud when it comes to Von Wagner. It's going to add another element to this. And so of course, after that, we see Kelly Kincaid have a backstage interview with Oba Femi. Oba calls Brooks Jensen an ignorant boy that's trying to convince himself that he's ready for a fight. But in reality, he's not ready to step into his jungle. He's going to be slaughtered. So then this is when Dijak interrupts the conversation, interrupts the interview, the promo, and so of course he doesn't buy what Oba's selling. So once he's done fooling around, let's see if he can prove himself, prove he's the world champion. And so of course this is when Dijak steps up to the plate, and he's definitely got a lot of great momentum, especially coming off the heels of his feud with Joe Gacy. So. When it comes to Oba Femi versus Dijak, let's turn the volume all the way up with that one. You know what I mean? So of course, then after that, briefly we see Rich Holland talking to his family on FaceTime. They wish him luck ahead of his match with Shawn Spears later on. Then, the third match of the night, Oba Femi as the NXT North American Champion versus Brooks Jensen. And when I tell you that this was a slaughter, I mean, this was just so one-sided. It was ridiculous. It was almost like I was going to say his name. It was almost like when Brock Lesnar threw John Cena around like a rag doll with 16 German suplexes at 2014, at SummerSlam 2014. You know what I mean? I was like, it's the same thing. It's just like Brooks Jensen didn't even fight. Oba Femi just threw him all around. Just straight up pimp slapping left and right all throughout the ring. You want to talk about just utter dominance and just annihilation. And the thing is, when I saw this being announced, I was like, yeah, Brooks Jensen's asking for a death wish. One of this Oba Femi. You know what I mean? It's like this dude was out of his league. And I mean, like when I say that Brooks Jensen was out of his league, he was out of his league from the moment Oba Femi made his entrance. You know, like Oba. And also for anybody who saw that, you could tell that Oba had extra pep in his step for some reason last night. And yeah, I guess he was excited about being I guess he was excited about being a colonizers. You know what I mean? Like I was like, man. And also, I want to see it was like the entrance or the entrance or at least like during the match. If you listen carefully, you can hear some fans doing the Jabari tribe chant from Black Panther. The Jabari tribe is a tribe that M'Baku comes from. So that same chant that M'Baku was doing in the movie, there are people that were doing that during the Oba Femi's match last night. I thought that was hilarious. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm here for all of it. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of I'm a huge fan of Oba Femi. Like I said, as far as that, and not only that, but during the match, Josh Briggs comes out, and I was thinking that he was going to try to interfere on Brooks' behalf, but it never happened. He just had to stand there and watch as his friend got slaughtered. I mean, he ran through and straight annihilated by Oba Femi. And of course, your winner is still in WWE NXT North American Champion, over Finley. And then we see the family teasing, teasing the idea of throwing Ilya Dragunov over the bridge. And then Tony D'Angelo tells Dragunov that this is personal, but it's about the NXT Championship. And Dragunov obviously is never intimidated. If anything, I mean, like Dragunov, invokes intimidation. I mean, Dragunov is walking intimidation. Like, he is so intense. He's extreme. Like, he is. I mean, like, he's intimidation personified. Like, seriously, this guy wakes up to choose violence. Like, seriously. And so Tony says that he can finish everything with a snap of his fingers. Dragunov begged him to snap his finger. And of course, Dragunov says that one thing Tony will find out about him is that he always finds a way. Dragunov always finds a way to win. And he's just going to give Tony D'Angelo a heads up, like, no matter what, I will find a way to win. And so the fourth match is Gigi Dolan versus Hardy Powerline Grace. And so in the stipulation was that if Gigi loses, she has to get a makeover from Ariana. Unfortunately, Gigi lost by disqualification by way of a low blow. And so because of that, she's got to get a makeover from Ariana. Like the thing is, when somebody loses, even that even loses disqualification. So I was like, this definitely heating up. And we also see Sol Ruka have a conversation with Carmen Petrovic. And Sol says she has unfinished business with Blair Davenport. And then, of course, Lola Bites makes fun of Petrovic for being a karate girl. As I like to call Petrovic, as I like to call Petrovic the Kill Bill girl. Especially with the way she uses her swords. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely Kill Bill girl. And so of course, Petrovic challenges Lola Bites to a match. And Sol Ruka's trying to be a peacemaker, but obviously it's falling on their fingers. So then, of course, we see Client Jordan get jumps in the backstage area ahead of the next big tag team match. Fifth match, we have Kiana James and Izzy Dane versus Thea Hale and Fallon Henley. And the winners of this match are Kiana James and Izzy Dane. And of course, Thea Hale. Of course, Thea Hale talks about how she changed herself for JC, how she changed herself for their approval, and basically saying that basically saying that Kiana and JC are just nothing but mean girls. And of course, my thing is, when JC Jane wants toxic, always toxic. You know what I mean? And so I was like, yeah, this is definitely. It's definitely Thea Hale snapping out of the senses and waking up. You know what I mean? So I definitely see that. Then after that, we have the match with Shawn Spears versus Ridge Holland. Shawn Spears wins by pinfall, and he's definitely been getting in Ridge Holland's head. And of course, obviously paid off. And so as far as that, like I said, pinfall is Shawn Spears, and so Spears was able to win with his finish of a C4 on the chair to pick up the victory. By the way, C4, that's also an explosive. It's also a drink as well. But last but not least, when it comes to the week of wrestling, let's talk about this Trick Williams and Metaphor segment. And so initially, Trick Williams, shout out to Trick Williams for the outfit last night, that sparkly glittery outfit last night. It reminded me of Michael Jackson outfit almost from back in the day. Hence that's why I made that meme. And Trick Williams definitely Trick James. He's definitely in his element with this. And so of course, calls out Carmelo Hayes. And we're just talking about how John Cena warned Trick ahead of time. That I'm warning him ahead of time by Melo being a hater. And say Trick was telling his brother, and how he was willing to take the food off his table so that Melo can eat. Like just just talking about how supportive he is and stuff like that. And so as far as that, and of course talk about how he always had Melo's back, and for 2 years he watched him succeed, watched him get every single accolade, and see him had offer. As far as that, and of course Trick say he did with a smile on his face because that's what brothers do, right? And so of course he's saying that watching Melo succeed made him want to step up his game, and of course put in extra work. So Trick talks about how he went to Shawn Michaels' office and asked him what he do to take his game up to the next level. And so so what Melo initially told Trick he was happy for him. He had no idea who was going to be on the other side of him, taking a chance on himself. But of course that's when Trick was born. So of course that's what Trick was talking about. So he's saying he saw it, the fans saw it, and Melo saw it too. And Trick said he wanted Melo to be happy for him, the same way that he was happy for Melo himself. But like I said, of course, like I said, that's when we talk about hearing whispers. Like I said, John Cena saying that Melo was hating on him, and Trick kept denying and saying that Melo was his boy, Trick and Melo gang, and all the type of stuff. And so of course, and Trick says Trick was like, Melo, that's when he's going to see him face to face, and this is when I certainly believe that they're going to have a match at stand in the middle. And so of course Trick was talking about, like, I kept asking Melo over and over, did you attack him? And so Melo looked him right in his eyes and lied to him. And of course Trick was like, as a matter of fact, the thing about it, he's lying for a long time. Lied about attacking from behind, lied about what's going on with Dragunov. And so, of course, the main thing was that Melo lied about being Trick's brother. You know what I mean? So of course, obviously, they're definitely going to have a match stand and deliver. This is with this rivalry, this storyline's all about stand and deliver during WrestleMania weekend. And then, as Trick continues to be about serious business, he gets interrupted by none other than Metaphor, right? And so, and so Noam Dar saying how, Trick's runs been epic. He was like, let's be real, everybody's sick and tired of hearing them complain about Melo, and I smashed him, destroyed him, whatever. And of course, routed into Noam Dar was saying that in reality, Trick deserved it, which is not true at all. And so Trick was like, the same, it's the same guy that you used to know, and he's like, he was just suggesting to go ahead and just allow his business and just leave Trick alone. And so of course, told him to calm down, and saying that they're different. And so of course, he was saying Vengeance said he lost his best friend, and then 2 weeks ago, Noam lost, what was the most important thing to him, which is the Heritage Cup. And so he said the difference is that he didn't run home. Put his hand in the pillow and cry about it. And he said, no, saying he made a big boy decision to move on to bigger and better things. Whatever that looks like. So of course, Trick warned him before. He was like, look, I'm saying again, I'm not in the mood for it. Just mind your business and leave me alone. It's just like, look, mind your business. This is about me and Melo. Pretty much is what he was saying. And so, of course, the new one was talking about he's going to, just let's be serious. Nobody's higher than him, higher than Trick right now. And so of course, Trick looks over at Lash. And he's saying, looking at the way Lash looking at me, I think everyone agrees. So it's like, yeah, this was Trick's way of breaking the fourth wall. You know what I mean? So like I said, like I said before, this is Trick Williams' way of breaking the fourth wall. For those that don't know, for those that are unaware, Trick Williams and Lash Legend are an item. They are together. Let's call it what it is. And so we certainly saw that spill out in that segment, just as it looked like Lash as it looked like she was going to slap Trick First off, as soon as Trick mentioned it, last trying to play it off. But the thing is, she never denied it. She never ever denied it, right? You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. And so, so of course, as soon as Lash raised, as soon as Lash raised her hand, Trick stopped. You know what I mean? As soon as Lash raised up her arm, it seemed like she was about to slap him. Trick grabbed her arm and swung her over and gave her a kiss. But if you look carefully, Lash was the one who actually grabbed Trick by his head first and moved in first. Okay, did not deny it all. And you could tell that Lash was definitely swept off her feet. Like the way that Trick swung her, like the way the Trick swung her around, I was like, oh. Man, so I was like, oh. And of course, somebody on Twitter was like, somebody else, there's somebody made on Twitter saying that Otis is at the bar watching Trick and Lash, just looking all depressed and stuff. I was like, yeah, because what Otis tried to do with Lash was terrifying. By the way, great acting, by the way, too. Even like seeing like the thing is, what Otis tried to do it, Lash was terrified, she was disgusted, she was horrified. But when it came to Trick, she got shook up. She just lost her cool. And of course, after that, and it was a perfect way for NXT to close out. And of course, afterwards, backstage, they showed Lash Legend going to, going to the trainer's room or whatever it is, and so all of a sudden she's calling the son. We see, like I said, we see Lash Legend backstage, and all of a sudden she's crying for medical. She's crying. She's yelling out. She's yelling out medical. Calling out for the medical team to come over, especially after that lip lock between her and Trick, right? And so afterwards, Metaphor, the rest of the group come over, and so Noam Dar has a reminder what the slogan is, like Metaphor above everything or whatever, right? And all I say is that after whatsoever Metaphor's days could be numbered, and especially when it comes to a Lash Legend, face turn. But I will say, Lash Legend has come a mighty long way, super duper long way, from losing week after week, having consecutive losses. I mean, definitely do not want to go back to that. Like, if anything, her stock has been rising higher than it's ever been before. You know what I mean? And I'm happy for it. I'm happy for Trick. But I think, as a matter of fact, the first time I heard about them being an item, or at least the first time I found out, was there was a leaked photo of them together together at one of Wally's parties. I said, "Oh, okay." Then during World Wonder Weekend, shout out to the Logans from the Jobbeteers. He was doing red carpet interviews, and Trick and Lash were walking together at the red carpet, arm in arm. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, hey, it's official, right? And so for them to translate that on WWE programming, I was like, and right after that, that's the thing about it is like, the thing about it is that immediately after that, I was thinking to myself, Trick was talking about going to Shawn Michaels' office, and I'm like, he wasn't just going there for wrestling advice. Clearly, Trick did not go to HBK's office for just wrestling advice by itself. If you know Shawn Michaels' reputation, Shawn Michaels' reputation, Trick wasn't like I said. I mean, for sure. Um, Trick was going there to get advice, to step his game up, to succeed at the highest level. Because Shawn is one of the all-time greats, right? But I believe that Trick, obviously, especially knowing the scene we seen last night, yeah, Trick was definitely going to Shawn's office for more than just wrestling advice. He was trying to get advice on how to get his knack. Let's call it what it is. You know what I mean? Like he was getting HBK's advice, trying to get his wisdom on how to lay his Mac down. And clearly Lash was on the radar at the top of the list. I mean, shoot, I know if that were me, if I was Trick, I put saw somebody like Lash Legend on that roster. You better believe I am shooting my shot like a basketball player. I'm shooting my shot like Jordan, like Kobe, you name it. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a catch, man. Kudos to Trick. You are the MVP. You know what I mean? So of course, I mean, who better to reach out to than HBK? You know what I mean? So I think that's a big reason why I'm even wearing the shirt in the first place. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, it was great to see NXT close out like that. And also another thing is, I remember last month during Black History Month, and how there's certain NXT wrestlers talking about what Black History Month means to them. Booker T was talking about what it meant to him, and it's funny how they had not only Booker T, but they're saying Trick Williams and Lash Legend, especially, on that commercial. You know, they showed one, and then they showed the other back to back. I'm like, I see what y'all doing, WWE. I see what y'all doing. Very clever. It's like, I see what y'all doing. Y'all think y'all clever. Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all think that I'm not gonna catch on to that, but I definitely did. See what y'all did. Kudos to you. But yeah, it's just my thing is, because Trick may want to tie that down because if he ain't careful, if anything, he's the guy that's definitely capable of pulling HBK numbers backstage, if you know what I mean. But I'm pretty sure Shawn will also tell him to avoid having sunny days. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, like I said, as far as that, that is definitely my recap of the weekend wrestling. And also, I want to talk about the latest episode of WWE Rivals between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was magnificent. It was definitely one of my favorite, one of the better WWE Rival episodes, especially with them being pillars for the new generation era, as being locker room leaders, like I said, their respective groups, and for them to be two of the most synonymous wrestlers when it comes to WrestleMania. I would say that they're the two biggest WrestleMania legends and pillars of all time, and how it's funny how JBL was talking about Undertaker's known for his streak, but yet, it's funny how Undertaker's known for the streak, but also, of course, one of the things that JBL had mentioned was that, the thing about Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, his record is 6-11. And it goes to show that Shawn reached a certain point where that record didn't matter because of how great the match was, and the thing is, leading up to that match with Taker, JBL was talking about the different opponents that Shawn's had, that he's lost to, whether it's Razor Ramon, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, John Cena, you name it. He's faced the greatest of the greatest, and so of course, ultimately, comes to a head at WrestleMania. Even though they already had a rivalry well before that. Like I said, ever since Shawn cost Undertaker the title at SummerSlam against Bret Hart, which spilled over to the Hell in a Cell match, and then of course, with Kane's interference. And then after that, we have the Royal Rumble casting match in the Royal Rumble with Shawn Shawn landed wrong in the casket, injured his back. He was 4 years of his career. Taker himself never knew how significant that injury was, that kind of thing, and of course all this stuff, just for the build up for the WrestleMania match, and they're talking about how Undertaker had never beat Shawn clean. There was always some type of shenanigans involved, things like that, and just a bunch of foolishness going on. But of course, now for them to have, to have an official one-on-one match, like that, like I said, that was definitely, that they definitely tore the house down. They definitely told an amazing story. It was the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, Light versus Darkness, Heaven versus Hell. Like I said, just this is story, the promos that they had back and forth and things like that. I was like, man, this is bound to be significant. This is bound to be great, right? So that sold itself. Like the fact that their legacies transcended titles by that point. Their legacies superseded the title, especially when it came to Taker Street. I mean, at that point, it's like for a title match, on the same card, it's not going to compare to where Taker's going on. Taker's got the streak, but come to find out, the big reason why, why they were so intense, why the match was so epic, was because when they looked at the listing of the matches booked for WrestleMania, by the way, there were 10 matches at WrestleMania 25. Shawn and Undertaker were 5th on the card. Halfway through, they were at the halfway point of Mania. Their thing was, it'd be one thing if they were 1 or 2 matches before the world title match. That wasn't even the case at all. They were 5th on the card, so you had a ways to go before you even got to those 2 world title matches. Which don't even compare, which is they're not even the same zip code as Taker for 6BK. And so because of that lit a fire under both Shawn and Taker. And of course Shawn himself was saying like, oh, well, we're going to tear this down. It's like, okay, they even done already. So so both him and Taker agreed. Like no matter what history they had, they definitely agreed we're going to burn this house down. And that is what they did at WrestleMania 25. That's why I cannot wait to get 2K24 and play that match, especially in Showcase. Magnificent Chef's Kiss, 5 stars all time. Matter of fact, in my estimation, I don't mind calling it the greatest match of all time, because the thing is, they exceeded even their own expectations. Because we look at it, and it's definitely going to be on my list of the top 40 WrestleMania matches of all time. But the thing about it is that we look at it from an athletic standpoint. They were certainly not at their best athletic. They were not the same guys that they were in like 95 and 96. But they knew how to tell a story. They knew how to deliver. They had that, the extra reserve, in their system. Like, yeah, this is, like I said, it's just lit a whole new fire with them, to the point where Triple H and Randy Orton looked at that, and they were like, all right, yeah, you pretty much are, and they knew it themselves. So whoever that was, Vince, Michael Hayes, whoever that was that came with the right idea to have Shawn versus Taker number 5 on the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Shout out to you. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. This right here. Yeah, and anyway, like I said, of course they had the encore at WrestleMania 26. But I would say that Shawn Michaels definitely one of Undertaker's greatest opponents in my estimation. His greatest dance partner, especially when it came to a match standpoint. With all due respect to Mankind and Kane, Shawn's definitely got to be up there. So I was thoroughly impressed. Now, of course, moving on to Awesome Khan. Of course, this past Saturday, Awesome Khan took place at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center here in Washington, D.C. truly, myself, was there for my eighth, ninth, maybe, Awesome Con, and this time it was Star Wars based, Star Wars thing. So much so that they had Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson, So automatically I was like, this is Star Wars theme right here. And speaking of Abbott Elementary is going right now. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So so like I said, as far as that, um, you know, the thing about it is that this year AwesomeCon was as earliest time ever, like the earliest it's ever been, all throughout the year, and it took place this past weekend, March 8th through 10th, and it was raining, But in spite of that, I needed to complain because I was going to be assigned anyway. But that Friday night, I did go to, I did go to the AwesomeCon after party, which is great, Spider-Verse thing, and a Spider-Man hoodie. But like I said, when it came to, Saturday, I was fully prepared all the way down. Like I said, at the Han Solo Episode 4 outfit. So that means I had the vest, of course, I had the blue pants with the red stripe. Come to find out, those were actually sweatpants. I was like, whatever, I'll make it work. And then I found out for myself why he wore boots, but I wore, of course, I wore my Jordans. I wore my fours, the weather fours, right? The white, red, and blue fours. So I wore those. I got my Han Solo blaster at the convention itself. So pick up some great, gear, great merchandise, like the shirt that I showed at the beginning. Some really cool artwork. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And like I said, I definitely enjoyed it. Now, I kind of wish that they did a little bit better when it came to some of the lines, as far as that. But wasn't in my situation. It was so packed they had to open up another lane. And I tell you that Rosario is really cool. She's really nice. Like I said, she is like super duper humble. She's absolutely amazing, and I could not wait, to get that photo op. And for those that are that are watching by way of YouTube and by way of Facebook and stuff like that, by way of Twitter and Facebook, here is my actual picture of myself and Rosario. And with the way that it was so effortless to get that shot, I was like just in one take. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, all right, then back. Got my blaster, got my vest. I understood the assignment. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? And as far as that, I enjoy going to Artist Alley, which is my first actual photo op, believe it or not. And like I said, it was my favorite AwesomeCon experience. Anything out of this whole time. And so of course, last year, I was able to come in time for, I was able to show up in time for the early panel discussion or interviews at the beginning. But I was like, let me get more and more of this experience. So I was like, yeah, let's take it a step further and get fun. And better believe, hence that's why my name is what it is, Han Solo. That's what it is right there, baby. My favorite Star Wars character, Han Solo. Because people want to give so much credit to, to give so much credit to the Jedi's. But first of all, if you don't have, a guy like Han Solo, if you don't have the scoundrels, if you don't have, the smugglers, the ones that are able to fly, they're able to fly the Millennium Falcon in a Kessel run in 12 parsecs. See, I messed up. You need somebody like that. You know, and that is Han Solo. Luke Skywalker's not the one doing. Like I said, the main thing, like I said, Luke Skywalker's not the one that out here doing a Kessel run in 12 parsecs with the Millennium Falcon. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it's just like I said, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was awesome con. Now there are ways that they can improve, yeah, but like I said, it's something that I look forward to each and every year. Like I said, I certainly enjoyed my experience, and I'm thankful that I was able to share this experience with you. Thank you very much, for staying tuned and watching this whole time. And so of course that concludes another edition of the Victorious Ones podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great night.